Po yung updated tally ng fatalities, is this already validated po?
As of this time, Ma'am Danny, the fatality of 7 people is still subject for validation. Ito po yung mga nasawi from Jose Abad Santos in Davao Occidental, 1 in Malapatan, Sarangani, 2 in Glan, Sarangani, 3 in General Santos City. Ito pong mga kababayan po natin na ito, we are still verifying their details, the cause of death, as well as the instance ng kinamatayan po nila. We also have information of 2 missing persons in Glan, Sarangani, and 2 injured persons in General Santos City. We also received information of 450 people po that required medical care because of hyperventilation and panic during the instance of the earthquake, ma'am.
Okay, understood, sir. Sir, can you give us an idea po of the evacuation situation there? How many evacuees, how many evacuation centers have been set up?
So far this morning, Ma'am Danny, we had an emergency meeting at the NDRMC. Ito pong meeting na ito ay pinangunahan ng ating Vice President Sara Duterte and Secretary Gilbert Teodoro and the NDRMC Executive Director, Civil Defense Administrator Ariel Nepomuceno. Dito po sa pagpupulong po natin, naiulat po ng mga kasamahan natin sa ground na wala namang pong malaki ang mga evacuation center na ginamit or evacuation activities. Ang nangyari po kasi nito, naganap po yung earthquake at nakaapekto po ito at this time sa counting po natin 180 families or 1,509 persons. What happened po during that time is pag nag-earthquake po, ang standard procedure kasi natin ay magsisilabasan tayo sa mga building as part of the evacuation going to the nearest open space. Lahat po ng mga tao nagpuntahan sa mga open spaces at nagsilabas ng kanilang mga bahay, ito po yung tinukoy at binilang ng ating mga kasamahan po dyan sa ground. Kaya po yung ating displaced persons po ay nabilang to 1,074 persons. Ngayon po, wala naman po daw mga tao na nag-evacuate sa isang evacuation facility. Meron po mga nag-i-stay sa labas ng kanilang mga bahay. Yung iba po hindi muna tumuloy dun sa mga concrete structures dahil nga po may nagaganapang aftershocks. Iniiwas po natin na may madisgrasya in case na magkaroon po ng malakas na aftershock in any time. So we're encouraging po yung ating mga kababayan to wait for the result of the structural assessments dun sa mga building nila. May mga engineers po ang ating local government unit na nag-iikot to determine the soundness of the concrete or the infrastructure of the facilities kung pwede po muling tuluyan. Currently, speaking of Ma'am Danny, speaking of the damage, we have received an initial report of 32 damaged infrastructures across the region, Davao City, Davao Occidental, Davao del Sur, General Santos City, South Cotabato, and Sarangani. Ito pong damaged structures po na ito, may mga eskwelahan, government facilities, meron pong tulay na nakaroon ng problema. Pero na-resolve na rin po yun ng DPWH. At meron din po tayong na-count na 60 houses po na napinsala as a consequence of the earthquake, ma'am.
Okay, thank you for that information. Last question, Spokes. Meron bang road issues? You mentioned isang tulay. Is that just one specific bridge or is there accessibility naman? And also, what about cellular signal and other types of infrastructure for connection?
In terms of lifelines, Ma'am Danny, road clearing operations have been completed, lalo na doon sa Sarangani area kung saan nagkaroon ng landslide. Yung ating mga DPWH counterparts po sa ground, mabilis po nilang na-clear yung area po na yon. So far po, 11 roads were initially reported as affected, pero as of this morning's reporting via DPWH, passable na po itong mga daan po na ito. Yung isang bridge po na yon na naulat na damage, actually po for replacement na talaga siya. Yung katabi niyang bagong tulay, doon na po pinapadaan yung mga tao. So technically, this did not cause any severe impediment po sa pagbabiyahe ng mga kababayan natin. Power utility naman po, we received information of 21 interruptions happening across the region because of the earthquake. Pero we received information din po during that morning meeting. All of these power services are gradually being returned or restored in those areas. Wala po tayong na-receive na water interruption notices coming from the local government area. And sa DICT naman po, our communications, we did not have any problems. Meron pong mga areas, we heard that may signal issues, but these are being attended by our telcos already. Wala pong nangyaring isolation or pagkapatid ng komunikasyon between disaster managers at the local level and the national level. Tuloy-tuloy po ang koordinasyon po natin.
Okay, maraming salamat po. That was NDRRMC Deputy Spokesperson Mark Timbal. Now, for its part, the Social Welfare Department vows to provide assistance for the quake-hit areas. DSWD Assistant Secretary Romel Lopez said the agency allotted over 14 million pesos worth of aid for Mindanao, particularly in northern Mindanao, Davao Region, and Soc-Sargen. These include the Quick Response Fund and the food and non-food items that will be distributed to affected residents. Lopez added that they will request additional funding if the initial allotment will not be enough.
Once we identified yung mga lugar kung nasaan yung malaking bilang ng casualty, maaari nating i-proposition doon yung ating mga assets para mas madali nating ipamahagi sa ating mga kababayan.
We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Dani Laurel. President Bongbong Marcos has arrived in Los Angeles following the APEC summit in San Francisco. Marcos Jr. and his delegation landed in LA at 12:11 p.m. Philippine time. He's expected to tour billionaire Elon Musk's SpaceX headquarters and meet the Filipino community there. Marcos will then fly to Hawaii to visit the Indo-Pacific Command, that is a U.S. post that monitors waters and airspace along the Philippine territory. The president will also meet with the Filipino community on the island. Let's now take a look at other stories we're watching. Unioil projects that prices of diesel and gasoline would each go down by up to 70 centavos per liter in the coming days. This follows a big-time oil price rollback implemented last week. The LTFRB issues a show-cause order to Victory Liner over the fatal shooting inside its bus in Nueva Ecija. The agency says this would determine possible security lapses. And Philippine bet Ana Lacrini was crowned second runner-up in Miss Globe 2023 in Albania. Malaysia's Manvin Kira is this year's pageant title holder. And those are the top stories of the hour. Join us later at 4:30 p.m. as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. I'm Danny Laurel. We are One News.